start with a new term today. However, let us try to take a recap of what we have studied so far in our previous session. It was about what? It was about the kinds of leukocytes, granulocytes and all. Then there further classification granulocytes into three more types, subtypes you can say: eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. Whereas granulocytes only two, lymphocytes and monocytes. Right? Lymphocytes again two more subtypes. What was that? B cells and T cells. Then again, what else? New thing what we studied was that thrombocytes or platelets. How many? Where they are found megakaryocytes. They are fragments of megakaryocytes, right? Megakaryon and all we studied. How many in number? What is their basic function? Coagulation. When do they produce that thromboplastin? And thromboplastin will activate the inactive prothrombin in the blood into thrombin active form in presence of calcium ions. Then that thrombin again in turn will convert the inactive fibrinogen into fibrin, and then finally the coagulation or clotting of blood takes place. So many instances of hemophilia are there in which most of the famous personalities they have lost their lives here, including the Queen Victoria. So I said why it is called as royal disease, bleeders disease and all. So clotting factor, how vitamin K plays an important role in the formation of this clotting factor. That all we have studied, right? So a good deal of information about our blood, the fighter cells and all we have studied. Today also we are going to study very important term, that is our blood group, blood grouping, what it is like, right? So it's not like students, that everyone's blood color is almost red, so we all are human beings, so all blood is same, anybody can give to anybody, right? Usually this is found only in movies, right? Blood transfusion, somebody is in need and usually the actor goes and says, just take my blood, I am ready to give. There's all kinds of things usually in the movies you see, but in medical terms there are so many things you need to know, that anyways like no one can give the blood to his close one or anyone without going through the right kind of checking what kind of blood group it is. It's not merely that everyone's blood color is red, so anybody can give this. This was the practice before 19th century, when even the soldiers wounded in any kind of war, they used to be transfused with anybody's blood, and it was luck by chance kind of instance that some used to get cured. Some the doctors, the then doctors, they could save few of the soldiers' life, while the others used to lose their life because of transfusion of the incorrect blood. Incorrect here means the blood groups. As such, the term called as grouping, blood group. There are categories of blood group. There are types in the blood groups also. Even though color-wise everyone's blood is same, this was not known until before 19th century. Finally, in the year 1901, it was thanks to complete credit goes to Sir Karl Landsteiner. Okay, Sir Karl Landsteiner, his information about little information, it is not shared in the book. But whenever you are studying about blood group, you should know the basic things. And how can we forget the contribution of Sir Karl Landsteiner in the field of blood grouping system? He is the one credited with making the blood grouping system. Today, the worldwide used accepted blood group system is ABO and RH. This is a worldwide accepted blood group system. It's not like blood transfusion can be done from anybody to anybody. This is one thing. We have to see the compatibility of the blood group, matching the blood group. What all terms we have studied so far? There is a term called as universal donor, universal recipient. This one particular XYZ is a blood group which can donate the blood to anyone. Then there is another kind which can take the blood from anybody else. There are again limitations into that also, and students, this has to be kept into mind. Even if you know little information about the blood group, that his or her matches with your blood group, so compatibility wise everything is okay, but still nobody can transfuse the blood before prior checking. Even if you're going to a blood donation center to donate your blood, plentiful of checks are done. Are you suffering from any kind of infection currently? Previous 3 months record, then other most important, your age, height, body weight. These all are the basic factors which are taken into consideration. Then only you are allowed to donate the blood. It's not that simple. And most important, a very strict stringent check is there on for those people who receive the blood. You know that wherever the blood banks are situated, they have extreme kind of best kind of technologies used to store the blood. It's not the blood, even plasma is stored. Certain formed elements, certain cellular components of even blood are stored. It's not all the time that a person will need the complete blood only. Sometimes a person may be deficient of platelets, sometimes lymphocytes. Leukocyte count is less than the normal. Sometimes RBCs are less in number. Sometimes problem with the plasma. So depending upon that, the blood banks have to keep a reserve of all these constituents. And most important, every kind of blood groups, proper stock has to be maintained under proper condition of preservation. That is very important. So it's not that easy. But thanks to the efforts of Sir Karl Landsteiner, that the entire world got to know that it's not merely the color of the blood that will decide that that it can be transfused to anybody's body. It's not that easy. In fact, that was the only reason which led to the loss of many lives, that anybody's blood was being transferred to anyone, especially during the war kind of situation for the soldiers. Okay, so then it was in the year somewhere around 1901 when Sir Karl Landsteiner, he found that there is something apart from color red that is variable from person to person in our blood. Okay, so then he discovered that there are usually, almost all human beings, almost 80% of the total population, you can say, there lies a kind of antigen, a special protein that can induce our immune system to produce antibody. These kinds of antigens, they are A and B antigens, which are found on our erythrocytes. Erythrocytes, remember this name? That's our RBCs. On the surface of our RBCs or erythrocytes lies a special kind of antigen all the time. So not necessarily everybody's erythrocytes will have that kind of antigens. Actually, there are 2 kinds of antigens, A and B. Antigen A and B, they are termed as. Okay. So then, based on the presence or absence of these antigens, the antibodies present in the plasma will react with it, and based on that we decide what kind of blood group a person has. Usually, if any one of you has done your blood group checking, then basic few steps you must be remembering. When the lab practitioner draws a little amount of blood from your body, he will put it on a cover slip or somewhere on the slide and add a kind of solution from one bottle. Okay, take 1 drop of blood from the sample taken. He will add a few drops of serum. Okay, something written over that, and he will add into your blood sample drops of blood, and he will mix it with a stick of a tiny toothpick and all. Then on another slide, he will take another few drops of your blood sample. Then he will take another bottle sample and put it over there and mix it. What actually is being done there? And after just few minutes, you get to know what is your blood group like. Basically, blood group also is inherent. This is very important to know. Blood group is inherent. From our parents, we get a blood group. The gene responsible for inheritance of blood group lies on your chromosome number 9. This is very important. Now, first let us understand. Let us know the contribution of Sir Karl Landsteiner in the complete formation of this ABO blood group system. Okay. So students, it was not until the year 1900 when Sir Karl Landsteiner at the University of Vienna discovered why some blood transfusions were successful while others could be deadly. Landsteiner discovered the ABO blood group system by mixing the red cells and serum of each of his staff. Okay, he demonstrated that the serum of some people agglutinated means formed lumps or clots. He found that the serum of some people agglutinated the red cells of other. From this early experiments, he identified three types called A, B, and C. Actually, it was A, B, and C. Remember, C was then later on renamed to O for the German own. German word own, which means without, not having anything, zero, nil, null. Okay. Actually, when he named the blood group system, it was A, B, and C. C was very late renamed again because of the word Ohan or zero, which means nothing, null in English. Then the fourth less frequent blood group, that is AB, was discovered then a year later. That means still 1901. Okay. Then in the year 1930, he was awarded a Nobel Prize in the for his contribution in the work of medicine. So students, we now know that there are what the entire world follows is the general method of blood grouping system, that is the ABO blood grouping system that we call it as, and also the RH grouping, okay, RH system as well as the ABO. Basically, first let us understand what is ABO, and then we'll be studying about the RH factor, what we have studied about so far, RH negative, RH positive, what it is. Okay, so ABO blood group system when we talk about, so first thing always remember, in case of ABO grouping, actually it is based on presence or absence of two surface antigens. Antigens, something which is not belonging to the body, but naturally here we have it on a erythrocyte. Suppose this is one red blood cells, erythrocytes. Okay, on the surface, two kinds of antigens are found naturally in our body. In some cases, in some of the kind of category of people, on their erythrocytes, on their RBCs, these two antigens are also not seen. Most of the people will have two kinds of antigens on their RBCs. Okay, these two surface antigens on the RBCs are named as A and B. Okay, they are named as A and B. Similarly, in the plasma, you know that almost 55% of our blood consists of plasma, right? So important proteins are also present into it, right? We studied all that. Globulins, fibrinogen, and albumin, right? Then again, plasma also has some amount of other glycoproteins, carbohydrates, some important minerals. Okay, so these are all things we have studied. So plasma has two important antibodies corresponding to this two antigens. Now, a person who has antigen is what we have studied, a substance which can induce immune system to produce antibodies, right? We have studied this in students. So, and plasma, naturally they have the corresponding antibodies with that of antigen. If a person has antigen A, a protein A, a foreign protein, here we will not say foreign because our own erythrocytes, our own RBCs, they have this antigen A. Antigen A, if it is present on the erythrocyte of a person's blood, okay, if that antigen is present on his blood, okay, then in his plasma, in his blood's plasma, antibody B is present. Remember, antibody B is present in the plasma of the person whose erythrocyte on it has antigen A. If it has anti-A antibody only, then what? That person's own antibodies will kill his own antigens and destroy the RBCs, right? A very naturally formed system of the body. If I have, suppose, if my blood cells, like red blood cells or my erythrocytes, they have on them antigen A. That means in my plasma, antibody B should be present. Okay. And vice versa. That means if On my erythrocytes, I have antigen B. If on my RBCs or erythrocyte, if I have antigen B, then in the plasma, antibody, what should be there? A. Okay. This is the way in which the antigen antibody formation takes place. Okay. Then what? If a person does not have any kind of antigen on his RBC, no antigen. We find such cases also. There are people who don't have any kind of antigen, neither A nor B. Then what? Even they have a kind of blood group, that is O1, null, zero blood group, that is a O blood group. Okay. Then, if no antigens on the erythrocytes, then definitely they have antibody A and B in their plasma, right? So now based on this kind of antigen antibody relationship, we have the ABO blood grouping system. Now who can donate blood to whom? That we have to understand. Okay. Now just let us divide this blood group into four, like A, B and O. A blood group will be the person who has A antigen, right, on the erythrocytes. A person with blood group A will have antigen A, but in the plasma antibody B, and he can donate blood to A and O, right? Person with blood group B should have antigen B on the erythrocytes, on his RBCs, but in the plasma antibody A should be present, and the donors group can be B and O, can be donated blood to B and O again. Why O we are mentioning? Because O is the one which has no antigen. Okay, so there won't be antigen antibody fight there. No problem then. Okay, where actually the clashes of antigen or antibody will be there, where there is no compatibility. Okay, now AB, there are people who have both kinds of antigen antibody there. That means antigens on RBCs are A and B, but in plasma there shouldn't be any antibodies. Why? Because if both antibodies will be there, they will fight against their own antigens, and that complete those erythrocytes will be destroyed by their own antibodies. This is very important thing. A person with the blood group AB will have both antigens. AB blood group will have both A and B antigens on their erythrocytes, but no antibodies in the plasma. Remember. Okay, AB person then can donate the blood to A, B and O. Okay, and what about O? Having no antigens, that means antibodies in the plasma are A and B, but O people can donate blood to O, and then other groups are also there. But again, here we have not mentioned few other specific terms because we did not study the RH factor still. It's not this much only. Okay, now what actually I was discussing about the blood testing in the lab, right? We were discussing that. So when you are going in the lab to check your blood group, so in that case, when the person, the doctor there, when he withdraws the blood from your body, he will keep it in the test tube, and 2 drops of blood on 2 different slides he will put, right? And in one of the drop he will add a kind of serum, a kind of solution, for example, a serum containing anti-A antibodies, and on the other anti-B antibodies. Okay, and he will mix it, the blood sample and the antibodies from different bottles. Okay, and he will mix it and see for the agglutination to be seen, that is lump like clots seen. Okay, suppose if the sample is agglutinated, okay, that means clots are formed by anti-A antibodies but not by B antibodies, then it means that A antigen is present on the RBC, right? That means the blood group of the person is A. And if the sample is agglutinated by anti-B antibodies, okay, the clots lumps are formed by anti-B antibodies but not by A, that means B antigen is present on RBCs, right? And the blood group is definitely B blood group, and in this way the other blood groups are also verified by your blood test. I mean, simple blood group test is done, hardly it takes few minutes and you get to know what is your blood group, and based on all these things, antigen antibody compatibility and all, then blood group of a person is uh, means stated. Then again, blood transfusion. When we talk about blood transfusion, the compatibility has to be checked. The person who is supposed to donate a blood to someone else. Then on what basis we are matching the blood? In fact, in today's condition, like everything is modernized, we have good deal of blood banks, good store of bloods in the blood banks. So usually the blood from the same blood group person only is transfused to the person who is in need. That is, the one who donates is the donor, the one who receives is the recipient, right? So based on that only, usually same kind of blood group is donated to the person who is in need. Usually this kind of condition, you see people who are suffering from thalassemia, right? Try to get information about that. Thalassemia, what is it? People who suffer from thalassemia, they are in frequent need of blood. And the other cases are other disease factor is there. And again, what is extreme kind of injuries, accidental cases where there is tremendous blood loss, profuse bleeding and all. So in that cases, a person is always in need of blood. And most important, it's like a noble deed, students, a noble cause. For a noble cause, it is always better that if you are fit and fine, healthy, having no kind of previous infection or any kind of chronic disease you're suffering from, then you can definitely go for blood transfer. You can definitely, donate your blood. It's a good sign. It's really good, and it's not like one can get badly tired, pale, or lose weight all of a sudden by donating the blood. Even the people, the doctors, who, who draw blood from your body when you want to donate, they also check all the factors, right? Like I said, so it's not like all of a sudden you will feel fatigued, tired. No such kind of symptoms actually take place. So this is a noble thing, noble cause to donate blood, but it's nowhere advisable that anywhere like you feel that your blood group matches with somebody and is in need or she is in need, and immediately you start approaching to the doctor and taking charge of the situation and deciding that you donate the blood. This can be the worst there can be worst consequences for that, first thing. Otherwise, there can be a situation when there's extreme kind of emergency. Still the doctors will take care that when to allow you to transfuse blood. Otherwise, I mean, even if you are your blood group is matching to a person who is in need, and all other sources to get the blood samples are closed, and in extreme case of emergency, things are going well with your blood group and the person who is in need, and if the doctor too feels that it's all okay, then only that transfusion is allowed. Otherwise, blood transfusion is done on an extreme kind of check, okay, extreme kind of vigilance, because that is needed, because so many diseases are transformed through infection. HIV is there, other chronic ailments are there, so many infectious things are there. Even students, if you're suffering from dog bite, rabies dog, a rabid dog has bitten you, just 1 month before you decide to donate the blood, then also you're not allowed to go for blood transfusion or blood donation. That is what minimum your track history of blood donation. 3 months before the blood donation, your complete history should be clean and clear, of your blood report should be okay. So this is what the complete antigen antibody kind of a relation is there to decide the ABO blood grouping system. Still, but this is not enough. There is one more grouping system that decides that completely is it safe to donate or receive blood from somebody based on the RH factor, RH grouping. So students, before I wind up, today's what all thing we have studied is ABO grouping. First thing, ABO blood group was the very first time given by Sir Karl Landsteiner, right? Then what actually this ABO is based on? The presence or absence of antigens on the surface of our erythrocytes. Two kinds of antigens are present, right? A and B. And in response to that two antigens, there are two kinds of antibodies also present in the plasma. Antigens on the erythrocytes and antibodies in the plasma. This thing you have to remember. If antigen A is there on the erythrocyte, then in the plasma antibody B is there, and then vice versa. And if no antigens on our erythrocytes, that means O blood group. That means both antibodies in the plasma. Then compatibility chart. This, in fact, I feel now that even you can make on your own, right? Fine. So we will be again studying the RH factor. ABO grouping we know. Now what is RH grouping or RH factor? You know that it's not alone. Your blood group is not said that I am A. My blood group is A. Is it positive or negative? That is essential to be mentioned, right? So like I can say now, for instance, me, if it's my blood group, I will say my blood group is A positive. I won't say alone A. What is the positive, negative thing that we have to see? What is negative? A negative, A positive, what it stands for? That is that factor is called as that RH factor. We'll be studying that in our next section.